Okay, so I know you hate adding extra things to the vids, right? But hear me out. I hate rich people.
Oh, you're talking about you want me to put the law thing in?
We just went to Evo, too.
Yeah.
It's so appropriate.
I hate rich people.
Law does not like rich people. This is about billionaires. He would hate this video just off principle. He hasn't even seen it yet.
As he should. I hate the way that they walk. I hate the way that they talk. I hate the way that they... I'm channeling my inner Kendrick Lamar.
I don't know if I hate billionaires per se. I just hate the things that they do. The concept that nothing is made, nothing is ever lost, and everything is on a top of pile of bodies.
Yeah.
Preferably stinky ones.
Ew.
Putrid even.
Oh, God.
And that's where billionaires are. On top of a billion other little bodies to prop up their gilded facades.
Yeah. I support that.
Anything else to add? Could have had a moment here. You seem you could participate with some words. You think the English major would jump at the chance?
If I start, it won't stop. Burn them at the stake.
Try one more time.
Guillotines.
Here we go. Casually explained, billionaires. You know how many a billion is? It's a lot of millions.
Now, the difference between an average person and a billionaire is essentially zero. Unfortunately, about 9 of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Nevertheless, if you're a regular person, you walk around the same streets as both the RIF, the RAF, and professionals all the same. You probably know people who still live at home, friends slumming it with roommates, couples sharing a 2-bedroom, and high earners with a single family home, a dog, 2 kids, and the white picket fence, giving you a decent perspective of life for the average person. But when you're so rich that money basically doesn't matter, everything changes completely. One unavoidable characteristic of becoming a billionaire is that you end up in such an isolated social circle that you often cease to relate to the common person, and your life becomes unrecognizable. For this reason, billionaires actually have more in common with the homeless than they do with most people. Doesn't pay taxes, undiagnosed mental illness, on the kind of drugs you don't even know how to get, and never even heard of the Epstein files. Now, it's natural to look at your life where you work 40 hours a week for just enough to scrape by.
Hey, if there's anybody there that works at a Dairy Queen and wants to just, I don't know, let me get a discount or something, I would accept that because I've gotten Subway quite a few. I just got another person that got me a discount for something at Walmart.
Sweet.
Very cool. Don't know if I'm going to use that, but food-based ones I'm always down for.
We love Dairy Queen.
How does someone even get to be a billionaire in the first place? It's really pretty simple. At some point or another, we've all had the genius thought, what if 1 million people just gave me $1?
Right.
It would barely inconvenience them, but then I would have $1 million.
Right.
While most of us stop at this fantasy, impressed by our own raw ingenuity, some people throughout history have gone further, extrapolated on this scheme, and invented what is known today as a business. As an example, Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph thought, what if you give me $16 every month and I mail you Shrek 2 on DVD? Easy $6.5 billion.
Easy.
Elon Musk said, what if you give me $8,000 and I pretend to give you a self-driving car every year for the next decade? Richest man on
Easy.
earth. Mark Zuckerberg said, what if I give you an app that collects all of your personal information in a giant database that I own, and you give me a heat lamp and a bowl of grasshoppers? To really drive home how much wealth billionaires have, when someone says they're a billionaire, they're one of only 800 people in the United States.
Right.
Jesus Christ. And one of those people is Mark Zuckerberg. It should make you sad.
Right.
How do you feel about the Zuck and Suck? I couldn't think of a good name, and that's the only thing that came to mind. I'm sorry, I apologize. I don't take it back.
I just think it's funny that there's apparently no good pictures of that man in existence.
They just don't happen. He tried to have his Bon Jovi moment, do a little facial hair, a little slick back hair.
There's just no good pictures of that man. Like every picture that you find. And mind you, right, like this is like a relatively innocuous photo, but he just looks so bad.
Dead inside. It's a pale stare. That just it makes you shudder.
And the 5 head isn't helping. You know what I mean?
I never really noticed his forehead was that big.
Yeah, part of it's the micro bangs, right? Like
any man that has eyes that you can't look into directly make me uncomfortable. And I wouldn't want to stare at him eye to eye for long at all.
In contrast, if someone says they're a millionaire, it means they have a house. While politically it's commonplace for progressives to hate billionaires because they epitomize late-stage capitalism, I don't make fun of billionaires because I have an ideological bone to pick. I make fun of them because they're really fucking weird. Recently, Peter Thiel, a tech billionaire and right-wing ideas guy, appeared on a podcast and was asked if he thought the human race should survive. He then stammered over the question for 15 seconds before reluctantly answering with the classic, "Yes, but..."
I'm sorry. I don't watch those kind of interviews. What did he mean?
What do you mean, yes, but?
How did that even come up in conversation? What do you mean, should the human race survive? What kind of questions is that?
I feel like we're getting into the eugenics territory.
You guys are scary people when you let billionaires discuss whether or not we should all live or not. Who are they to decide literally?
But as I frequently tell Putin, Hamas, and Benjamin Netanyahu on our weekly Zoom meetings, the correct answer to human rights questions is always to say yes right away, and only reveal later that you had your fingers crossed out of frame. Billionaires like Thiel are almost alarmingly out of touch with how to communicate with the general public, because even though he can understand a regular person's life conceptually, he can't relate to them on a personal level. For example, I get really hot at night when I go to bed, so I like to turn the temperature way down, whereas Thiel prefers to sleep in a deep freezer. He lays down like a sarcophagus. Now, the good news is that not all billionaires base their whole personality on World of Warcraft expansions and name their company after the magic rock Sauron used to corrupt weak minds and manipulate their will. Warren Buffett, for example, has not only pledged all of his wealth to charity after he dies, but he also still lives a very humble life in his house in Omaha that he bought in 1958 using the change he picked up off the ground. Nevertheless, most billionaires don't do much to shake off the public image that their whole existence is just about lording over their minimum wage warehouse workers.
Just comically evil. They're so evil, it doesn't even make sense to talk about. It seems like you're exaggerating that they just feed people poverty wages optionally.
Yeah.
They do it as an option, and it doesn't have to exist. Now, it does bring up a fun conversation that I've had about if they don't exploit, then who? There's always going to be another exploiter right around the corner. For every Zappos, there's 28 Starbucks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But there's so few billionaires to come to a consensus to solve the problem, it just doesn't have to be here.
Right. If only there was a solution to this problem.
That's not a solution. That's an ending, not a solution.
What's the difference?
Whole existence is just about lording over their minimum wage warehouse workers as they Zillow the next 2,000 hectares of farmland to buy, sip their cognac, and mutter to their Siamese cat what pleasure it brings them to see the peasants toiling for their coin. But this isn't how billionaires run companies. This is how Mr. Beast comes up with video ideas.
Also, I would just like to say that I have been saying for years that this man was not to be trusted, and everybody was all on my shit. Okay? Everybody was like, no, he's great. He's a good guy. He's perfect. And now the mask is coming off and more people are seeing it. And I would just like for people to know that I started this.
The ethical question of should there be billionaires at all is one of the most hot button issues around right now because wealth inequality has been steadily increasing decade over decade, and many people believe that billionaires don't pay their fair share. This is of course ridiculous, as billionaires get divorced all the time. With that said, it is a common belief that if the government were to confiscate everyone's personal wealth above $999 million, this would lead to a dramatic improvement in the standard of living for the average person.
Right.
Problem is, even if you were to yoink every stock, bond, and square inch of real estate a billionaire owns, liquidate all of it to straight cash while somehow getting market value, in the US you would get about $6.22 trillion. Which would cover 11 months of government spending, or every person in the country would get a one-time payment of around $18,000.
Right.
While this is nothing to scoff at, if you're one of the people who says we should eat the rich, it's important to consider that the average inheritance in the US is $46,000, meaning you would make more money if you ate just one of your parents. Now, because they can't yet buy more of it, billionaires are experts at managing their time. While flying private is out of reach for most of us, there are other tips you can copy from billionaires to save time in your own life.
Okay, here we go. This section's for you. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Come on, loosen up here. Here we go.
For example, when I make a new account on a website, I save time by letting Chrome auto-generate an encrypted password. I got this idea from Elon Musk, who uses the same technique to name his children. When you basically reach level 99 in capitalism, you might ask yourself, what do I do now? Not to worry, once you've reached the level cap, there's still plenty of side quests for you to do. While most regular people spend their time playing video games, doing arts and crafts, or playing a sport, Billionaires can choose
We don't
more
do that.
exotic things like getting bullied on Twitter, criticizing the Chinese government exactly one time, paying pro athletes to make you feel talented, leaving the planet in search of any novelty that will make the emptiness go away,
Oh, Lord.
paying to boost your Path of Exile account by streaming it to prove to anyone who doubted your multidisciplinary genius that they were in fact correct, exploring the bottom of the ocean to uncover its lost secrets, and of course exploring the bottom of the ocean and then dying instantly. In reality, when you're worth even hundreds of millions of dollars, an ultimately rookie amount, you can pretty much have anything you want. Penthouses, luxury cars, private chef, private plane, giant house, and another giant house in a poor country that kind of sucks but has good weather, and you're not sure if purchasing power parity means the gardeners are getting paid well by their standards, or if you just own slaves. With this in mind, if you are a billionaire, it's actually pretty hard to think of a way to flex on multimillionaires, meaning the 23-year-olds on Raya who look like they're 35 aren't going to message you back. That is, of course, until you remember what separates the centimillionaires from the billionaires. Big boat. Ask a girl if she'd rather be stuck in the middle of a forest with a random bear or a random man, and she picks the bear every time. Ask a girl if she'd rather be stuck in the middle of the ocean with a random shark or stuck in the middle of the ocean with a random sorry man, and she picks Muhammad every time. This is because men in the forest are broke, meaning they'll try to touch your boob. Whereas men on yachts are rich, meaning they have grown weary of material desires and flew you out business class for your quirky personality. While no one has tried to sex traffic me yet, the closest I've been able to get so far was when I was on a holiday in France several years ago and made a day trip to Monaco. Now, for people not in the know, Monaco is a tiny sovereign nation basically inside France, and is like a Vatican City tax haven for the ultra-wealthy. They have a little garden you can look at near the Monte Carlo casino, which was the only thing I could afford. And as you walk through, you're like, oh, look, a little building. Hopefully this one's a bathroom. Nope, just another Audemars Piguet watch kiosk. Then you pee on it anyway because you're in Europe. Other than this neat oceanographic museum, what I thought was the coolest part of Monaco was the port, which was divided into sections based on how important people in Monaco thought you were. In the very inner part of the harbor, you have the literal wage slave section, which is basically all the yachts that I would see back home. Then there's Worthless, which had the biggest yachts I have ever seen in real life prior to this. After that, you have Starter Yacht, which are like floating New York City penthouses. Then the last section in the harbor is, finally, a real yacht, which is one giant pier for the 2 or 3 mega yachts that rule the Monaco postcard photo and cost at least $100 million each. Obviously, you don't stop there because these things are a dime a dozen. So then you go out in the ocean and you get, what is this, a harbor for ants?
Jesus.
Now you might be thinking what I was thinking at the time, which was, even if you were a billionaire, why on earth would you want a mega yacht so big you can't even park it in the harbor? Exactly. To store your other yachts in, broke, you get with the program.
Shut up.
At this point, I too was wondering how I could acquire a Russian nesting yacht until I was like, speaking of, what's that? And maybe a few kilometers farther out from the shore was this thing, which is the world's largest sailing yacht, and in the top 5 most expensive yachts ever built. It's owned by Andrei Melnichenko and designed by the guy who made this cool lemon squeezer that my mom just bought. Even though I had forgotten the oligarch-class yacht existed, this guy claims he doesn't even have ties to the Russian state, making him just a regular, unimportant billionaire. This argument, of course, didn't work on the Italian government after Russia invaded Ukraine, because they saw the yacht parked outside their shoreline and said, yoink, which...
What?
Okay, wait a minute.
What?
Wait a minute.
Seized it and then did what?
They're riding on it right now. They do what you do with it.
Which brings us to the true top of the hierarchy, which isn't who owns the biggest yacht, it's who owns the biggest ocean.
Facts.
And you know what that means. That's right, baby, the taxpayer wins again. Checkmate. Billionaires, me and the boys, have once again risen to the top.
Every time!
Now, if you're looking to...
Sponsored by the
wrong
IRS.
slide. If you're looking to avoid calls from the IRS or other scammers that manage to get your email or phone number from Zuckerberg's databank, you should try today's sponsor, Incogni. Incogni is a service that contacts data brokers on your behalf to request the removal of your information from their products and services.
He'll never outlive
This means
the
it
meme.
won't be able to be purchased or acquired by potential scammers, spammers, or crazy exes, even though you wish they
So
would.
if he's not real, she can't
This is
hurt
something
you,
data
dude.
brokers have to comply with. They just don't really want to. So to do it yourself manually would take dozens or hundreds of hours. All you have to do is sign up for an Incogni account, and right away it'll get to work, while giving you reports on what has been initiated, in progress, and completed.
That feels like that would stress me out.
Right? That's exactly what I thought.
I know who's looking
Stop
at me.
messaging me.
I can't
Stop
see
telling
it.
me.
When you use it for the first time, you're going to think, how did it start so fast? I haven't even told it what my data is yet. But that's what you did when you signed up, suddenly
Right.
causing you to realize why
Right.
it makes sense that everyone in the world has your email and phone number
Yeah.
now. If you'd like to give Incogni a try, you can use promo code CASUALLY at the link in the description to save 60% off an annual plan. Just make sure you leave a bowl of
that's a
grasshoppers out for Mark as he comes for you when you rest.
Thank
That's not Mark. That's the other guy.
Yeah, but Mark was coming for him as he rested
I
by
see,
reaching
I see.
over to eat the... We ate a cricket in Mexico.
We did.
It was actually a really fun time. Okay, so listen. Billionaires is a fun concept, and it's only fun because there's nothing you can do about it,
Right.
is what we once thought.
Right.
And then they started dropping like crickets. So anyways, we'll see you guys in the next video. It's been a wild ride this year. I've had a great one so far.
Me too.
Nowhere closer to $1 billion, but
No.
I feel like I've spent about $1 billion.
I was gonna say we're the furthest from $1 billion we've ever been.
Yeah,
Actually.
spending away. But I feel alive, and that's what's important. We'll see you guys in the next one. Do the law thing. I hate rich people! That's for my fans. I'll see y'all.
Bye.
Peace.
I hate rich people.